All right, today we're diving into one of the most competitive real estate markets in East Tennessee, Hardin Valley. Have you ever really wondered what an extra couple $100,000 gets you in a super hot market? Well, we're going to find out. We'll look at everything from the starter home all the way up to the luxury retreat. This is the big question, right? It's what every single home buyer is asking themselves. So what does your budget actually get you? We're talking square footage, we're talking features, and we're talking about the lifestyle you're buying into when demand is through the roof.
Okay, but before we start talking price tags, we have to understand the why. What is the big deal with Hardin Valley? How did it go from just a quiet patch of land to one of the most sought-after communities around? There are some very specific reasons for it.
So what's fascinating here is how these 5 things create a perfect storm. You've got this killer location perfectly sandwiched between Knoxville and all those major employers in Oak Ridge. Then you have the schools, which for so many families is an absolute non-negotiable. The houses, they're newer, they have the open floor plans everyone wants, throw in the parks, the shopping, and the fact that they're not making any more land, and you've got a recipe for demand that just doesn't quit. All right, let's get to the numbers. First up, the $400,000 price point. This is probably the most competitive slice of the market because it's where the biggest pool of buyers is fighting to get a foot in the door.
So, what does 400 grand really buy you? Well, fundamentally, it's your ticket. It's your ticket into that amazing school zone and the community itself. Think of it as the price of admission.
And what does that admission ticket actually get you? Well, as you can see, you're typically looking at something around 2,000 square feet. Usually a 3-bed, 2.5-bath setup. These are modern, really functional homes. So things like open concepts are pretty standard. You're going to find granite countertops, a 2-car garage, and it's all going to be on a nice, manageable quarter-acre lot inside a subdivision.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. The trade-off at this price isn't about the features so much as it is about scale. You get the location, you get the schools, you get that great neighborhood feel. What you're giving up is, a huge private backyard or super high-end custom finishes. It's a strategic move to get into the game. Now, what happens when we add another $200,000 to that budget? Oh, the difference is absolutely dramatic. Let's step into the $600,000 comfort zone where your options and your quality of life just expand like crazy. This is really the tier where families decide to put down roots for the long haul. It becomes less about just getting in the neighborhood and a lot more about getting comfortable for the next 10 years, maybe more. And you can really see the jump here. The square footage leaps up to over 3,000 feet. 4 bedrooms and at least 3 bathrooms becomes the standard. But look at those key features. That's the real story. We're talking dedicated home offices, bonus rooms for the kids, and often that 3rd-car garage. These are the spaces that make modern family life, and especially remote work, actually possible. That's exactly it. The whole lifestyle just shifts. You start seeing more covered porches for entertaining, bigger kitchens with those huge islands, more little architectural details like better trim and higher ceilings. This isn't just a house anymore. It's becoming the family headquarters for the long term.
Okay, so finally, let's check out the top tier of the market. Once you hit $900,000, the whole game changes. It's not just about space and comfort anymore. Now it's about customization and, this is the big one, privacy.
At this price point, buyers aren't just looking for a house. They want a property that really feels like a retreat. It's not about being bigger, it's about having a better lot and a much more curated personal living experience. And at this level, the specs become much more unique, much more bespoke. Yeah, we're talking 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, maybe 5 or more bedrooms. But the real story is in the details. Lot sizes now start at a ½ acre and just go up from there. Outdoor living becomes a huge focus with things like built-in fireplaces and outdoor kitchens. And inside, you're seeing commercial-grade appliances and primary suites that honestly feel more like a spa.
Okay, so let's just put this all side by side so it's crystal clear. At $400K, your focus is access. At $600K, it's all about space. And at $900K, it's privacy. See how the buyer profile changes too? From a move-up buyer to a long-term planner and then to an executive. Each step up has its own trade-off, moving from less space to less customization to just a higher overall cost. This right here is the value ladder in Hardin Valley. So, now you know what you can buy. But the much bigger question, the one every buyer has, is this. Is it a good investment? Let's zoom back out for a second and look at the overall health of this market.
First off, you've got to know who you're competing with. It's so important. That 400K tier is packed with young professionals and families scrambling to get into that school zone. The 600K level, that's your established families, your corporate relocations. And up at 900K, you're going to find executives, doctors, and business owners. Knowing this helps you figure out how to position your offer.
And here's the bottom line on the whole investment piece. That limited supply of land we talked about, well, they're not making any more of it. And the demand from those big employment centers in Knoxville and Oak Ridge, that continues to be a powerful engine driving this whole market. So yeah, short-term stuff will always happen, but the long-term fundamentals here are really, really solid.
Which kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. In a super high-demand area like this, what's actually the smarter play? Is it stretching every last dollar to get the biggest house you can possibly find, or is it about buying into the absolute best location you can afford and securing your position in a community that has proven long-term strength? Something to think about.